stop his free energy research. And so it just goes on. And of course, I could talk about Tesla, could talk about Wilhelm Reich. I recall back when I was working for a newspaper, there was a story about a guy who had invented a carburetor that could run 100 miles on water. And he had newsmen get in his car. He showed them how it worked. He poured the water in, and they drove for 100 miles. And so there was a few stories on that. And then all of a sudden, he just drops out of sight and probably was threatened, or probably his device was bought up and then locked away. These stories go on and on and on. So where there's smoke, there's fire. Obviously, there's people out there with good ideas that can work, and let's never forget that Thomas Edison and people like that, these were not credentialed scientists. These were guys, the Wright brothers, they just went out in their garage and figured something out, made it work. You know, where are those guys today? Well, one of the problems is the U.S. Patent Office. If you go to the patent office and try to get a patent on a free energy device or something equivalent, they slap a classified classification label on it and take it and lock it away. And that's because the corporations have taken over our government. In fact, the only difference between our government today and the German government in the 1930s, which fell into the hands of fascism, is that in Nazi Germany, the state gained control over the corporations, and it was that combined power of state and corporate power that's the very definition of fascism. And in modern America, it's the corporations have taken over the state. But the end result's the same, right?
Absolutely. Good point. First-time caller, Charlie in Tennessee. Go ahead, Charlie. You're up.
Thank you, George. Thanks for taking my call. Jim might be the only one that could shed any light on what this conspiracy theory that I heard about years ago. My brother-in-law is a furniture mover, and I helped him move a John Birch Society gentleman. And this is about Jack Ruby. You know, the judge that was over Jack Ruby's trial, I guess.
It's Joe B. Brown.
Didn't he die mysteriously of cancer?
Well, I don't know how mysterious it was, but yes, as I recall, I believe he did die of cancer.
Yeah, I call it mysterious because it seemed to be, you know, just one after another, people were dying.
Yeah.
Well, this John Birch Society man told me that he was injected through his seat on the bench with cancer, and that's the theory, and no one has ever heard of it or anything. And I was just wondering if you have heard of it. I've just known about it so long.
So in other words, the judge got it in the end.
Yeah, he got it in the end.
I'll tell you, I don't know any particulars along that line, and the idea that he's injected through the seat, that's kind of a new one. But all I can tell you is that from what I know, it is entirely possible to inject someone with a cancer-causing agent. And of course, if you heard George's lengthy interview with Ed Haslam, you probably heard even further of those details. You might want to go check the archives and have a listen to that. But yes, that's certainly possible.
Okay. And George, I had a coincidence. My father-in-law lives in Mount St. Helens, and he heard me talking to you one night and put two and two together. And I hadn't talked to him in years and years. And he said, "Is that Charlie on the radio?" I just wanted to tell you that you're getting out there, and it was fun communicating with him, and just wanted to say hi to Joe out there and on the coast.
All right, it's a small world, isn't it, Jimmy? Very small indeed. Let's go to Jack at Dayton, Ohio. We'll see if we can squeeze you in here, Jack. Go ahead.
Yes, you want full disclosure. Well, here it is. Now, I can't talk too long because I am with Special Security Forces at a base here in the Dayton area. and we have been gearing up for some time. I've tried several times to get into the show. We've been gearing up since the big swine flu false flag. And this is your disclosure right now. I'm going on record, and I'm sticking my neck out. But we've been doing all kinds of, in the Special Security Forces on the base, we've been doing all kinds of special respiratory training. And there's even talk of the anthrax respiratory sprays and all kinds of special respiratory training here, and as well as special equipment testing. This equipment is special sound or sound barrier equipment used to break up crowds, or heat people's bodies up so they'll disperse quickly. Also, there is a camp connected by railway in neighboring Indiana. I believe the city is Peach Grove, Indiana, and it is an abandoned railway that has been taken over by the government and quadruple fenced. It's been fenced 4 times over into several zones: red zone, blue zone, and yellow zone. There's talk here on the base of taking people by rail when a civil disturbance breaks out to that area. It's large enough.
Are these run by FEMA, Jack?
Yes, I believe that camp is ran by FEMA. I don't know if it's an actual camp or not. It's a rail depot. I believe it can be looked up on the internet. It's in, I believe, Peach Grove, Indiana. All
right, we will check that. And, Jack, we're out of time, but I want you to send me a very special email, if you would, maybe a personal one from your personal email so we can get back in touch with you. And we'll also try to get your phone number right now. We'll be back. Jim, I want to thank you for being on the program, my friend. Jim Marrs, his website, linked up at coasttocoastam.com. My, oh, my, what a fast night. Next up, Ancient Aliens with Giorgio Tsoukalos on Coast to Coast AM.